willing, please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good evening. Thank you all for coming. We have no one here who has asked to deliver public comment, so we'll move right into the report of the secretary. May I have a motion, please, to approve the minutes of our last meeting?
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of Wednesday, September 18th, 2024.
Second, Rebecca.
Rebecca, thank you. Any comments or questions?
Looks really good. Well, perfection as always.
Usual sterling job.
Yep.
I say that every time,
I know.
only because it's true every time.
I think it's just amazing that the hyperlinks for the times.
So great.
If
Yeah.
anybody ever wants to go and hear something again, all they have to do is go to the agenda notes, click on the time of the topic that they're interested in, and it'll take them right to that part of the video. That's genius.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anything else? All in favor? That's 5-0. Thank you. Brings us to the report of the chair. First thing is a reminder that the MSMA October Conference is the 24th and 25th of October. That's a Thursday and Friday. Registration is now open, and if any of you on the board wishes to attend, Terry will handle your registration for you. Let her know. Okay. I attended this past weekend the Eastern Region meeting of the National School Board Association. It was Friday evening through Sunday morning. A lot of good business get transacted, the sort of normal business that they do, but one of the sessions that I was particularly interested in, which was very interesting, was a session on cell phone use in schools. It is, as you know, a hot topic nationwide. I will read it. I'm not prepared to deliver it now, but I will read out my notes and let you all see that.
Perfect.
We're scheduled to have a discussion about it as
Yeah.
a board sometime in January or February, I think.
I think February is what
February,
we, yeah.
okay. So
Good.
I'll look and make sure I have, but I'll give you a spoiler. There's general agreement that what we're doing as a practice at the middle school is a really good idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, okay. And that concludes my report and brings us to the report of the superintendent.
Thank you very much. Tonight, we're going to start off with Special Education Director Runing is going to talk a little bit about the Adaptive Physical Education Program. This is our first year doing this. Renee Caverly, who is the Department Chair for Physical Education district-wide, is here as well. We had a bunch of teachers who put an incredible amount of effort in over this summer to get certified to become adaptive physical education teachers. So really, we are one of the trendsetters in the state of Maine. So I want to talk a little bit about what the program looks like and then answer any questions you might have.
Can everybody hear me? Yep. All right. So thank you for having us come and talk about adaptive PE tonight. Mrs. Caverly and her team and I have been working over the summer on trying to put together some processes and things like that. I just want to give you a little background because sometimes it's good to be first and sometimes it isn't. So adaptive PE in the state of Maine was a neglected related service, and there was actually a lawsuit about that where the state lost that lawsuit and had to start establishing adaptive PE programs. At the same time, by coincidence, Curriculum Director Hurley found this man over at UNH, Scott, forget his last name, McNamara, and these guys signed up for a class, and I'm excited to say, sometimes I don't like to go first, I like to go second to let somebody else make a mistake. This is a good one, and I'm really excited to see the work that they've done and to think about the promise that holds for our students with disabilities. So I'm going to turn it over to Renee, and then I can answer any questions people have.
Is this working? I don't feel like it's working. Oh, perfect. Excellent. Thank you. So Renee Caverly, and I'm the Health and Phys Ed Curriculum Chair now. Last year, so we're kind of going back, we kind of discussed about our district taking this next step. I'm proud to say that now there are 2 PE teachers at the high school, and then every other phys ed teacher in our district is now APE certified. So that's a huge undertaking. Our department got to spend a lot of time together from last March through June because we took an intensive course with Dr. Scott McNamara from UNH, who's one of the most respected adapted PE instructors in the country. And he really has kind of taken us under his wing and given us as much information as we were willing to take in. And we took in a lot, and we did a lot in those 10 weeks. It was intensive, it was a lot, but I have to tell you, it's one of the most rewarding things I've done, because if you ask your phys ed staff in this district, this is in all of our hearts. This is something that guides one of the reasons we got into this profession, so it was not a difficult sell at all for any of us. So adapted PE, the philosophy, and I'm starting with the philosophy before any of the laws. I know Mr. Rooning has to worry about that, but the philosophy for us is the most important part. And number one is what we try to do for every phys ed student in our district, to make them feel seen, valued, and appreciated in our classes. Very important also in adapted PE to earn that trust, because we're going to be doing some things that haven't been done in school before. So we really have to have those strong relationships with our adapted PE students. Obviously, number two is to meet all standards. That's why we are doing this. Emphasis on fundamental motor skills and fitness. Number four, we'll talk about this a little bit more when we get to the IEP process, but we have to find not just what is legal and what's right, but really truly fits each of the students. And that's one of the most rewarding things about this process, is really thinking about what will benefit the most. Because there's a continuum of things that we can do. We can meet them in a general phys ed class, all with being co-taught, so have a teacher near them all the way through a one-on-one service in a room with them, whatever they need. This is the exciting part about this, the APE laws. We will become the advocates for our APE students. We, meaning the phys ed teachers, will become APE teachers, will become the advocates during the IEP process. And then, of course, help them enjoy and love physical activity. Remember, I said the philosophy for me is first, okay, but there is also the rationale behind it, required by law. There are laws. We're trying to help all of our students access the curriculum. This was an interesting one for us, and it was something a little bit different of a lens to think about APE through. For many years, students got pulled out of phys ed for PT and OT services. But PT and OT are not special ed services, so they're extra services. So this time is going to be dedicated solely to APE. Now, we will be creating motor teams for all of our students, so they'll be part of the discussion with us because they're vital. We need to all be together, but we will have our students for APE services, for APE class, and then they will be having additional services on top of that. And then I just spoke a minute ago about the continuum of settings all the way from general PE to it could potentially be out of district if needed. Some pretty startling statistics of how this actually affects 4.5 times lower, physical activity is 4 times lower in children with disabilities. I don't like these two statistics because I certainly pray that all of our students would not feel this way, but these are national norms that people in other places don't feel like they're included as much in class, but I sure hope at MSCD 35 they've always felt that they're very special and important, because they are. But those are the nationwide stats on this. And then, as many of you know, the outlook long-term isn't great for people with disabilities. So our hope is if we can instill a joy of moving, a love of moving, and provide them with increased skills, that they can kind of beat this, this trend. When we identify a student in our general PE classes or in any PE classes that we have as needing special services, it will now be up to the adapted PE teacher to couple with the case manager to work with them, get parental permission, and we will be doing the testing for our students. So you can see here, there are going to be 3 different tests that we can give depending on age, and the top 3 is what we're going to be doing right now. The top 3 are the ones that we have kind of vetted out as the best practices for our students. Now, you can see it's by age, and we are all now trained to administer those 3 tests. So as we see fit, we will look at our student, we'll get together with the motor team, with the case manager, and think for our student, which test, which assessment makes most sense for that student.
Renee, we don't, the board does not have the slides, so I don't think they can see the statistics. When you said the percentages on the slide before, I'm not sure they know what those were.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
My fault.
The 38, 47%.
Yeah,
but, like,
38 and, I'm sorry, so 3 times the adults with disabilities are 3 times more likely to have heart disease, stroke, diabetes, or cancer than adults without a disability. 38% obesity rate for children with a disability, 38% higher than for children without a disability. 47% of adults with disabilities do not get any aerobic physical activity.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So, with the testing, we will be assessing the students. We will then write a report after, and if the students in the IEP process are 2 standard deviations below their peers, then we will be recommending, if the IEP team determines that that is the correct course of action, we will be recommending adapted PE services for our students. Okay, so that's kind of how we're going to go through this. And as I said before, we will be the advocates in the IEP meetings for our students. This slide is just to say that we did a lot of work on evidence-based practices. We really did a deep dive in what works best for our students. So I won't go through all of this because it's a lot of stuff, but there's so many things here, and I know this is what you speak of and do all the time at the elementary schools, and a lot of these things will be helping our APE students quite a bit. We've been having a lot of fun with this, modifying equipment, purchasing equipment, really thinking through how to help our APE students get involved as much as they possibly can. So there are 4 different ways we will modify equipment. Game-based play, so there's things, there's a student at Great Works who is benefiting from kind of like Hungry Hippo style, where there's some foam bars that come out, so as he moves around the gym, if they're playing soccer, that helps him take the soccer ball with him and travel. There are so many cool different adapted materials that we're all kind of playing with and loving creating. Oversized equipment, to be honest, we've been going this way for about the last 5 or 6 years in physical education. It is not rare to come into one of our classes now and see you very rarely see a volleyball game. You see beach balls, you see modified equipment, balloons, all the way around the gym for our general PE classes. So we're just kind of taking it to that next step with oversized equipment to give longer flight in the air for reaction time, hand-over-hand help, that type of thing. And so then there's also, we are learning with the motor team on how to do growth-based things with helping with braces and moving and getting around on mats and doing that. And then the access-based, and then the second to the right is kind of really fun. So I know the Great Works teacher has bought phys ed teacher has bought a slide, and his student is able to like pitch in a game by taking a ball and putting it on top of the slide and pushing it down. So then he's participating with other students by pitching, and so that's a fun one. The future goals here, I'm going to go to number 6 first because I was just talking about equipment. Something we've been doing for the last few years in phys ed is having transition meetings at the end of every year. This is going to be so crucial now with adapted PE, because the way we see this is you are literally going to get with that next PE teacher if they're switching schools and talk about every single thing you have done with that student for 1, 2, 3 years, whatever it is. And not only are you going to pass all your information, you're going to pass their equipment with them. They're still going to need that equipment. So it's a totally different way of thinking about it. Each school won't be buying new equipment because we're custom making equipment for each of our students. So as we pass on information, we'll also be passing on that equipment. Obviously, we'll be working with Scott to help with forms and all of this kind of stuff as we kind of make our way through how we follow all of our obligations. Talked about the equipment. We've already been meeting as a group. This is crucial, the UNH connection. Having Dr. Scott McNamara right down the road is huge for us. He has a consortium of students that are looking to have internships. So once we get stable, we're actually gonna be having, and honestly, a lot of them are adults in their 40s or 50s coming to UNH to practice, which is kind of funny. You talk about us being new, but the way I operate, sure, come on in and watch us, it's all good. So we're gonna be having UNH students come and work with us also in our adapted PE setting. And then just being able to share equipment through all pre-K through 12 is gonna be critical as we navigate through. So that's a summary of our adapted PE curriculum. Is there anything that I can answer for you? Any questions?
I have a question,
Sure.
just, this is amazing. What does this look like in the school day with, in and amidst all the other classes that all of the PE teachers have?
Yes.
So is it integrated, well, it depends, right, on the student?
Depends, that's
Okay.
exactly right. That was one of the #1 things we learned,
Yeah,
is you can't make the system fit the child.
right.
You have to make what the child needs fit the system. So we're finding different ways. I'll speak to the middle school. We have a couple of options that we will be doing. I have a co-teacher, so perhaps in a class of 45 kids, I might have 6 students in APE class in that gym with the other teacher having the responsibilities for the rest of the kids, but my eyes are solely on those 4, 5, 6 kids. So like a co-taught model there, we could be doing that. Or we have a situation at the high school where it's, I shouldn't say it's one-on-one, it's not, it's actually like 3-on-1, right? Yes, so it would be like the ed tech, the APE teacher. I think in that class there's a student intern and the student. So it's just gonna look all different for each of our students. It'll look so different.
Yeah.
I'd say, like, at Great Works, there's an hour a week that we've dedicated to that, just because the schedule works. And so the kids still they still go to their regular PE class.
Yes.
Right.
Okay, so that they always have that, but then there is an hour a week just,
Oh.
and so and so that might be, these kids will get an hour, or it could be 3 kids come and get a half hour, and other 3 kids go, all depends on the needs.
Yeah.
So it just, that's how it works for us. So.
Gotcha.
Follows the same philosophy as the least restrictive environment discussion in special education,
Yeah.
right? So we've got to make decisions based on what that kid's least restrictive environment will be, and that's going to be different for everyone.
Right. And the most inclusive possible.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's the goal.
Yeah. Awesome.
This is great, thank you so much.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Congratulations
Thank you.
on all of the accomplishments, and
Thank you.
I know that was a lot of work to get that, and it's so fun to hear how excited you guys are about it too.
Thank you so much.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on our agenda, Brian was going to provide a quick enrollment comparison, just an update as to where we are enrollment-wise as of October 1st, sorry.
So good evening. You should all have a graph in your packet with red, yellow, and blue bars on it. The red bars are where we were on the first day of school, so we did that about 4 weeks ago. The yellow bar is where we are today, and the blue bar is where we were at this same board meeting a year ago, just to kind of give you some comparisons. So at Elliott, comparatively to the first day of school, we are down 1 student. At Central, we're plus 1 student. Great Works, we're even. The middle school, we're down 4 students, and at the high school, we're down 10 students. So I usually say when we have these conversations that I expect to lose 15 to 20 students between the first day of school and when we certify the October 1 enrollment. We're currently at 14 students. There may be some minor adjustments between now and when we actually certify the enrollment, but we should be pretty close at this point.
Just showing off now, you know
Yeah,
that, right?
So looking at comparatively, I put the total enrollment in purple on the right-hand side. So that just gives you an idea, if you kind of add up all these numbers, where we are total enrollment-wise. So October 4th of last year, we were at 2136. This year, we're at 2135, so we're down 1 student comparatively. And comparatively to the first day of school, we were at 2149. And then just comparing that to kind of what we projected, like where we were going to be at. So when we did the budget, we tried to be conservative. We tried to look at all the different things. We projected that we were going to be at 2,104 students this year. So we're a bit above that. In fairness, we did add some pre-K students for the new pre-K program, about 30 students. So I was telling Becky before the meeting, and she said, just say this. So I don't want to brag, but we projected 2104. We're at 2135. We have about 30 students, so we were pretty good on our projections.
These are 3-year-old students, so these are students we did not expect. So
Exactly.
it's a
So,
separate-
so we were
it's not just
pretty
for-
close on our
Yeah.
projections. So,
Amazing. Good job.
does anybody have any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. It's really cool.
Next, I just wanted to quickly touch on an upcoming professional development day, just to give you a sense of the things that we'll be working on that day as a district staff. We will have some time working with Jermaine Moore. We also have some ALICE readiness work. The middle school, high school has some bar preparation work. The high school is working a lot on their advisory preparation, and then they're also the vision of the graduate, and then also working with the curriculum development across the different departments. And so really focusing those days, and then the day in March is more of that conference type of approach, where there's a number of different sessions where you kind of, choose your own adventure, if you go back to those books a long time ago. So just wanted to share that with you. So that will be on the 11th. Next is on October 15th at 6 o'clock, when the doors open, Judge Broderick will be here. We just encourage people to attend. The Wellness Committee's done an incredible amount of work. Kathy, I'm going to put you on the spot for a second, but we were just talking about the MEF, trying to get the MEF involved. So Nina, your person might be right behind you, so that's perfect. Just might be able to help get that word out to the MEF, just to be able to let them know. And I believe is The Kids Are Not All Right is the name of, yeah. So, and so we're excited about it. We have about 100 people pre-registered, which is great. We also are going to have a little bit of a open house type atmosphere with a couple of different tables from some student groups. Chartwells will be there, and then hopefully maybe some student performers. And so we're really looking forward to it.
Can I interject?
Yeah, of course.
Lisa has to be at the South Berwick candidate night that evening, and I know it's killing her that you can't go to this thing.
So bummed.
I think I might attend the South Berwick candidate night as well, just in case.
Okay. Okay.
Anyway,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you.
thank you.
Something that I just have been thinking about a little bit, and it came up last week, and I just wanted to put this out to the board because it makes sense to me, which sometimes is dangerous. But we do this curriculum review, and it's a 5-year cycle, which is a wonderful thing. But I think it's a missed opportunity on our part not to come in April or May and present what happened over that year of the curriculum review. And so the curriculum may not be changing, but there may be things within the curriculum that may be different. It may be different books. It might be different, it might be different state standards. But I would like to see if the board would be interested in having, this year would be the science curriculum is going to be reviewed. And do we have a group of people, Heidi would lead that group of science teachers, Heidi, to come talk about the work that they did this year and what that looks like
Yeah.
going forward.
I would
Does
love
that make
that.
sense to
Absolutely.
everybody?
Definitely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
we'll get that in the books then. Perfect. Just an interesting update, on November 14th at 5:30 at the Sanford Regional Technical Center, there will be a meet with your local legislators night. And so if any of our board members are interested in attending, I am going to go. It will be at the cafe starting at 5:30. And then I believe at 7, the legislatures will be doing a homeless forum in York County, so they'll be having that conversation. So just wanted to put that out. So if 3 of you would like to attend, 3 obviously is the magic number because we want to avoid a quorum. But just if you would let me know, and then I'll be able to put that down in our books. But I think
Would you like me to coordinate that for you?
sure,
Okay.
sure.
Let me know, and I'll let
Okay,
you know.
great. Great.
Pick one thing off your plate.
All right, perfect. The next thing, I just thought this was really interesting, and it came up at a meeting on Friday, and give me a second, because I got some stacks of paper here. I had it all written down. I know it's here. Where are my notes? So I wanted to kind of give you a little bit of a Sanford Regional Technical Center update and also a Dover Technical Center update. So currently, we have 79 students at Marshwood that are attending the SRTC. That's a lot of students. That's the highest number that I can remember in a long time. So we also have 22 students from Marshwood that are attending the Dover Technical Center. And so for those students, that's it's a big decision because there is, a cost, so to speak, as far as classes that they could take here. But those technical centers have really changed what people in the past may have thought of like a vocational education because it's no longer that same model. And so really exciting. But Heather, I thought you would appreciate this. At the SRTC, 29% of the students from Marshwood are earning college credits. So, and then what's really impressive on top of that is that you're basically a third, but then they're averaging 7 college credits each. I mean, so you talk about half a semester, right, like where you're
That's
not having to pay
amazing.
anything
Yeah,
extra.
wonderful.
You're doing the dual enrollment,
So great.
just a really exciting opportunity for kids. And so I saw that like, oh, we gotta stop, this is really important.
This
Let's
is
make sure we put
awesome.
this on the,
Yeah,
because I know this has kind of come up in the past, so I wanted to share that with all of you this evening, so. Really working hard. They're also, just so you're aware, constantly looking at ways to expand the programming. And so for them, for instance, there's 5 programs that are really, really difficult to get into. Cosmetology is probably the most difficult. Welding probably is 1A. And so both of those programs are very selective. So we are trying to get our kids there earlier to get them excited about it, working with our ELO coordinator to kind of create that bridge to get kids excited about that as they can access those opportunities as a junior. But they're also looking to add different things. And so there's a potential next year, and I think it's almost a done deal, that they're going to add like a sports science type of class where it might be kind of introduction to athletic training, introduction to personal fitness training, and so they have an opportunity there to do that. So that will be a new program that they'll look at to see how that goes. There's also been a talk about, I'm going to probably say this the wrong way, and I think we're a couple of years away with this, but kind of like a 4-wheeler motorsports repair class for people who are doing kind of the off-roading, motorsport type of activities, dirt bikes, 4-wheelers, the quads, those types of things. And so they're looking at that, creating a program around that.
Now, do you get to participate in those discussions?
Yes.
To give you,
Yeah.
well, yeah, mention lawnmowers and
Yeah.
snow blowers.
Yes,
We need
yes.
more repair people
Yes.
around here.
That used to be the big
So
one at
funny that you
Summersworth,
said
and
that.
they do not any longer have that program, but that used to be a really, and we used,
That's so
I'm going back
true.
now 15 years ago, but we used to trade seats at our AP classes for seats at, the
Oh,
small, it
that's
was small
smart.
engine repair.
Yeah,
So-
that's
so-
smart.
Yeah, so,
That's
yeah, so anyway, just funny you say that, but anyway,
Yeah.
Combine it with the
I'm dating
4-wheelers,
myself right now.
Yeah.
So, just exciting, I just think it would be something to share with the board, so I just think, people really understand the technological, resources these kids have at their fingertips now, of being able to work out, or walk out into the job, force. If you're a welder, you may make up as a $60 an hour,
Yes.
you're right out of high school, or,
Yeah.
plumbing or electrical, and
Yeah.
they also, as you may be aware, build a home every year, and
Yes.
so they're in the process of with the building trades and electrical and doing all those types of things. So it's really exciting. So, not to mention the computer work that they're doing as well. So,
Great.
the other one that's out there, I believe it's in the discussion phase. They did a survey of kids, of all the kids in all the different districts. Was really kind of like a theater, lighting, sound, technical approach. There's such a passion about that, and so giving kids an opportunity to learn a little bit more about that, which I thought was really cool. So, just some big things on the horizon.
Very
It's
cool.
amazing.
And that concludes my report. James, I will turn it over to you.
Awesome. So in the past few weeks for sports, various sports teams had their homecoming games last week, and students were encouraged to pack the stands in order to earn points for their class's homecoming total. Over the next few weeks, teams will be having their breast cancer awareness nights. Girls soccer kicked it off last night, and teams are now well into their seasons, and they're all working hard to make it into playoffs. Student Gov has been keeping up with daily announcements, and we're currently making small changes as we work toward involving other student leaders and reading them off. Executive board members are meeting this Friday, and we plan to start incorporating members and General Assembly meetings as soon as possible. Marching band and color guard had one competition since we last met, and they did very well. The grading scale has changed in the past year, and so they're dealing with some more strict scoring guidelines, but they're really excited for their competition this weekend. Quiz Bowl had their Harvard tournament this past Saturday. The team got to visit Cambridge, and they had lots of fun in a long day of answering trivia questions, which was super cool. Mackie Bow was a standout scorer at 9th overall in the tournament, and the team is looking forward to a meet in Plymouth this Saturday. They'll also be hosting like a mock competition for interested Marshwood students to try to build future participation in about 2 weeks. Math team is still practicing and preparing for their home meet on October 9th. And Interact Club had a can drive for Spirit Week and will be passing all donations onto the South Berwick Food Pantry. We're also currently working on meeting with some community organizations about partnerships, and we'll be sending some more volunteers to various events over the next few months, which is really awesome. Civil rights team is still in a brainstorming phase for the year. The club will be sending a few members to ask questions at an upcoming candidate forum at York Library, where some of the main candidates in the upcoming election will be present, which is a super awesome opportunity. And then for general student life, this past week, as I said, was homecoming week, and students really had a blast. Students earned points for their class by participating in Spirit Week dress-up days, donating to Interact, the can drive, decorating doors with Marcia at the Movies theme, attending homecoming sports games, and participating in the pep rally. Ultimately, seniors won, followed by the sophomores, juniors, and then the freshmen. And then in other news, we also have some Danish foreign exchange students coming on Friday, October 4th, and they'll be staying until Sunday. These students will be accompanied by their host students and families, and they're going to be observing some classes and attending some workshops that are being put on by some of the English teachers at the high school. So overall, a lot going on and lots of fun.
Thank you.
Thanks, James.
May I add one other quick thing, Joe? I would be remiss if I didn't mention that this past Sunday, we had the inaugural Marshall Hall of Fame and Excellence induction ceremony. Probably one of the greatest things that I've been a part of, to be able to be a part of in this district. I want to recognize that we do have an inaugural honoree, Mr. Jerry Brunel, so congratulations.
Amazing.
I think the one word that really struck me is community. And how much it meant to people to be recognized and to be back together. And I thought it was really apropos that the last person that they honored was the former superintendent who actually brought Elliott and South Berwick together to create the Marshall School District.
Oh, that's cool.
And so just very, very well done. Mr. Buzzell worked incredibly hard. You know, it started with an idea that we had, and we had talked about it, and really did an incredible job. If you have an opportunity on your way out, please take a look at the Hall of Fame itself. You can go in and go through, you know, let's learn more about Jan Sarabona, and you can learn about Jan. Just for note, you know, no district money was spent on that, and that was something that we don't take out of the budget. And so just a really, really nice thing for everybody, and really, I think it strengthened us as a community.
And I want to reiterate my thanks to the committee that put that together.
Yeah,
It was so well done.
so beautiful. And to the students who were there as ambassadors, James was one of them. You guys were like decked out. It was so professional, beautifully done. It's really nice.
And that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you. No correspondence upon which to report, so we'll move to the report of committees. Finance and Facilities will next meet on the 16th of October. That's in 2 weeks, and we'll get a report out at our next meeting. Ed Policy met on 9/25. Is someone going to report out for us?
We have some first reads tonight,
Yep.
and I don't think I have much more to,
rescission.
and a rescind, yeah,
Can I add just one quick thing, Jen, if you don't mind?
please.
We also had a subcommittee meeting where we're working on trying to revamp, revitalize our facility use policies around, you know, student-based Elliott and South Berwick community groups, to local nonprofits, to non-local nonprofits, to for-profits, and trying to figure out fee structures that are fair and reasonable, but at the same time, there is a cost, and we're trying to find that balance. We met on Tuesday, Monday. I think it was a very productive meeting, so we hopefully will have something to you early in November, and our hope is to have that new policy in place by January 1st. As part of that, we also had an opportunity to meet with Marshwood Youth Basketball and the Elliott Recreation Department to kind of review some changes that we're making as far as the building use goes. One of the really neat things is that we can now program cards that we have when people log in, and so we can say, if you're doing an activity from 8 to 9 in the morning, we can say you can be there from 7:30 to 9:30, and then your key's shut off, so we take away access other than that assigned time. So that gives us a little bit more control over the buildings when it comes to those things. So, you know, so they were great about it. It was a great conversation. So, thank you.
Excellent. Thank you. And then lastly, Wellness SEL met earlier this evening. Who's going to report out for us?
I worked on that for a while. Yeah, I mean, mainly, we basically covered this already. We have our kids are not okay, is that right?
Yes.
Our kids are not okay. Presentation coming up on October 15th, starting at 6 o'clock with a little bit of an open house wellness thing for about a half an hour. And then Judge Broderick will be coming and speaking with us on his experience and also giving us some suggestions, and highly, highly recommended that anyone from the community come, but in particular, students, parents, grandparents, basically anyone who works with kids or is a kid, to come to this really important presentation. I think we can all agree that mental health is really, we have a mental health epidemic right now with our youth, and it's, it's everywhere, including our own community. And so the more that we can learn and grow together on that topic, I think the better. And he's a fantastic speaker and just has an amazing story as well. So hopefully everybody will come. But basically our conversation today was just about getting everybody to come. So if anyone has any ideas on that, we're spreading the word right down to the towns, the police department, the social media pages. We have a lot of staff coming, and we're going to be trying to do hopefully some incentives for students, middle school and high school students to come and participate in that as well. And that was today.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, that concludes the report of the committees and brings us to new business. May I have a motion, please, to approve Pinkham-Notch stuff?
I move to approve the Marshwood Great Works School 5th grades overnight trips to Pinkham-Notch on the following dates. Trip 1, April 30th through May 2nd, 2025. Trip 2, May 5th through 7th, 2025. And Trip 3, May 7th through 9th, 2025.
Second, Heather?
Thank you.
So exciting.
Comments? As always, one of my
Love
favorite
it. I
programs
love
of the
it.
year.
I
love
know.
it.
Definitely.
Anybody want to add anything, or should we just go ahead and vote?
Let's do
All
it.
in favor?
Yeah.
Yes, 5-0. Great. Motion, please, to approve the first reading of ADA.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy ADA, school district goals and objectives.
A second, Lisa.
Lisa, thank you. This is new, yes?
Yes.
Yep. And this is really something that we already do,
Okay.
which is good.
But we just didn't have an adopted
On
policy.
policy.
That's
Mhm.
correct.
Yep.
Okay. Any comments or questions? All in favor? That's 5-0. We'll be back for, it's the second read in 2 weeks. Motion, please, to approve the first reading of ECB.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy ECB, pest management in school facilities and on school grounds.
A second, Rebecca?
All right, thank you. Okay, I guess I didn't know we had a pest
You have
management
no idea how big a deal this is. Like, this is
policy.
just,
We should've done that.
yeah, to get rid of a hornet is like an act of Congress. So.
Yeah.
All right, this doesn't have markup, so I presume this is brand new wording.
We actually took the MSMA policy that they provided.
Yeah.
Okay. Is this supplant, or did we not have ECB?
No, we had one, but
We
we
did.
did
This-
we're changing
We're
it.
just
There was,
supplanting it.
yeah,
Okay.
changes to the main
lot of
pesticide
changes.
board,
There's a lot of
pesticide rules, so there was a lot of change, yeah.
As a general rule, when there's more yellow on the page when you look at it than regular
just
print, then there's a problem.
grab
So
that.
that's-
Version.
Yes,
There's a lot here.
great. Okay, any other comments or questions? All in favor? It's 5-0, thank you. That concludes the first read on EBAA.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy EBAA, chemical hazards.
Second, Heather?
And this was just,
We're no longer calling them MSDSs, apparently.
It's SDS is now.
Just
Yes.
SDS,
Yes.
okay. Safety dish.
And we added a cross-reference.
Yep. Comments or questions? All in favor? That's 5-0, thank you. Motion, please, with regard to the first reading on GBB.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy GBB, staff involvement in decision-making.
I'll Second, Lisa?
Thank you.
This was a new policy.
Okay.
This is where the kind of the curriculum thoughts came
Mm-hmm.
from.
Yeah.
Okay. Is there any comments or questions about this? Okay. All in favor? 5-0. As with all of these, we'll see you again in 2 weeks. Motion please to approve the first reading of GCOA.
I move to approve the first reading and discussion of policy GCOA, supervision and evaluation of professional staff.
Second, Heather?
Thank you. This appears to have
Really updating
Paragraph
of the
across.
law, yes, the law.
As a result of a law.
Change.
Yeah.
That's correct.
Comments or questions? All in favor? 2, this 5-0. And lastly here, may I please have a motion to rescind GCOA-R?
I move to rescind policy GCOA-R, supervision and evaluation of professional staff procedures.
Second, Rebecca?
And that just did not need to be in, it was a procedure that did not need to be in the policy manual.
Okay. Comments or questions? All in favor? That 2 is 5-0, thank you. Concludes new business and brings us to the building administrator check-in.
We have a couple of really exciting things coming up. Our Monster Mile kickoff is on Friday, so the high school cheerleaders are going to come. The kids just love the kickoff day and start giving all the packets out. The Monster Mile is our annual fundraiser. Last year, I think it was about $36,000 that they raised just for the one day. Most of that money is going to our new playground equipment that's coming. That our PTO has been working really hard with Mrs. TD to do some adaptive equipment, new swings. The kids are so excited. So that'll be happening this year, so really hoping to make just as much money so we can keep going with some exciting things. So the Monster Mile will be on November 1st. We've also, Denise Joy recently retired, but she's been coming back to do some work with us with our outdoor classroom, and all the kids have been planting and harvesting. It's already coming in spinach, so everyone's growing spinach, and it's just really fun. The kids, it's exciting to do that in the fall and watch them all go into the hoop house, and they go and check their spinach to see how far it's growing. So that's been really fun. The thing I think I'll probably have to mention our 3-year-olds every time I talk because it's just, they're such a joy. So as Scott knows, today we had an IEP meeting, and just, I think the mom said about 5 or 6 times to the teacher that she's her new favorite person. Just teary, just, how, just you can see what a difference this is going to make to already form these relationships. It's crazy to see what in 3 weeks that 3-year-olds can start to learn. But I can just already tell, by the time we have them in 3rd grade, it's just going to be such a huge, huge blessing for our community. So that's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, whoa, final part here. Couple of things. Couple of Saturdays ago, John mentioned Jan Sarabona. Actually, it was last spring. She came to me and she said, Jerry, we retired teachers of York County, they pick a school and they do a project on a Saturday, and it's a day of caring, and it came after 9/11. And so I think she'd been doing it 15 years, and Jan said this is the last year she thought she was going to do it. And I'm like, yeah, right, Jan. You're going to have to slow down. But she said, she really wanted to do it at Great Works School the last year. We had worked so many years together and things. And so I said, yeah, we'd love to. And so a group of, they had about 20 people came down, and they were retired teachers. A lot of them I knew. Some people I didn't know from Saco and all over the place. And so we worked from like 9 o'clock to about 1:30, did some work in the gardens in the front of the building. Out back, we had a U.S. map that's been sitting in a locker, stenciled. So we put that on the playground. We got it all painted. We didn't paint it that day, but we had a gentleman come in and paint it. And so just a ton of work. And it was just, these people are folks that have given all of their lives, and they just continue to do that. And so really appreciated that. And the other thing is just that one of the great things I think all principals or all administrators get to do is we get to do these evaluations and what I love to do is these mini observations. And that's where you go in and you spend 15 to 20 minutes, you know, and you do this a number of times in a classroom. And so I'm lucky in that I've got a number of teachers that, you know, they take their kids outside. So last week I was out with Nikki McAllister's class. She's on the cycle to be observed. And so every Thursday she does geometry with the kids. That's how fourth grade does their geometry unit, is they do it on Thursdays. And so it's outside. And so I said, Nikki, I'm tagging along. And so I'm observing her, but I'm also observing the kids. So we hike out 15, 20 minutes out behind BA, and it is just, I mean, I just can't tell you. I mean, so here are kids that they have just come together, and she says, find your sit spot. Okay, so kids have to find their spot. And what they are doing, they're observing. So for the first 7 minutes, they are just looking at around their area around. What has changed from the week before? You know, where is the sun, you know, compared to last week? It is just amazing, and it is dead quiet. And so here are kids that have just, I mean, that outdoor, I mean, you hear me say it all the time, but that outdoor education is just, you can't beat it. And then it is, you're tying in geometry with this. And so it was, and it happens, and I'm picking Nikki as an example because, I mean, I happen to be tagging along with her, but it goes on over and over and over again. So
Cool.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Good evening. Just want to really praise our PEEPS organization. As you know, that's like a PTO. So PEEPS, we had a goal of increasing the number of parent participants in that. And we were pleased on the first meeting in September, and then again earlier this afternoon. We have doubled the number of PTO reps or PEEPS reps that are attending meetings. So that's good news. So they're sharing responsibility, and it's going to make a real positive impact on the services we provide to kids. Tomorrow morning, we've got our dancing shoes ready, and we're going to have them on with Dance Carmen coming in. Can't wait. I don't know if you've ever seen her in action, but she is amazing, and it's so much fun to dance with the kids. Really proud of our third grade students. They got together under the guidance of a couple of teachers and put on what was referred to as EES Cares. And what they did was they created care packets, and each of them had a customized letter to the person, or the adult in the professional community that they were going to give it to. And from the principal to all the other staff members, we all got a precious little card from our kindergartners with lip balm, filing for our nails, candies. It was wonderful. So we're really pleased with that. And I would just, as an old adaptive physical education teacher myself, I would just say how proud I am of this district and the effort they're making to create an equal playing field for all of our kids. So thanks very much.
Awesome, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. Any last thoughts from the board? Okay, I will then entertain a motion to enter into executive session.
I move to enter into an executive session for the purpose of discussion of personnel issue pursuant to Title I MRSA subsection 4056A.
I'll second Lisa.
Thank you. All in favor? 5-0, thank you, that's go, and we are in executive session. Thank you.